Here's what's cooking on today's Sports Stove Local Hour. We are talking the EKU football win, the rain delay, and we've got some great guests on tonight too. Dequan Stanley and Gabe Stevens is joining us tonight. That's what's cooking on tonight's Sports Stove Local Hour.
McKinney looks, steps into pocket, throws, open receiver, touchdown! Colonels, we're not done yet!
Our identity is we're going to press for 40 minutes, we're going to play up-tempo, we're going to play with unbelievable passion, and then our brand is the most exciting 40 minutes in sports.
Welcome in to an all-new edition of the Sports Stove Local Hour, presented by All Around Roofing, Central Kentucky's go-to source for all exterior needs on your home. And with the rain and storms coming through tomorrow, good time to maybe save the number for All Around Roofing. Check them out, allaroundroofingky.com. And any roofing needs, gutters, siding, windows, whatever it may be on the outside of the house, they can help you out, big or small. I'm Vince Stover, joined as I am now every week by Jonathan Duff, the long snapper for EKU. How you doing, Duff?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing awesome, man. I'm enjoying this cool weather, the nice cool down that we've had, just because mainly I'm old and grumpy. So I'm sure you guys are enjoying practicing in a little cooler weather as well.
Oh, definitely. You know, early in the season, it was pretty brutal out there. So especially with the sun off the turf. So having a little clouds in the sky is nice.
A nice overcast week and a fun game planned for this weekend. I was reaching out to somebody today. I said, is there any inkling that this game is going to get pushed back or moved forward or anything like that? They said, no, as of now, everything seems to be a go. So it might be a little wet and sloppy, but outside of that, should be a fun game this weekend. But we really want to talk about Moorhead more than we want to talk about the game this weekend right now, at the very least. And another big win, 42-13. So undefeated at home, still undefeated, of course, in the conference as well. And this was a game that you guys were able to shine really at every level, get out there and just kind of do your thing at each level as well, dominate the game against Moorhead. And I thought it was a very entertaining game, honestly. Had a great time watching it as well. I assume you guys had fun playing it this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I always have fun playing in a win. But also, I think one, and I'm sure we'll touch on it, seeing a lot of different guys get looks and a lot of different guys get playing time in there, that was awesome. You know, you always want your teammates to go succeed, and a lot of guys balled out that hadn't had much opportunity yet. And on top of that, it was really the rain delay, you know, or the lightning delay or whatever it was, you know, that was kind of a big wrinkle into it. But to see everyone respond in the way they did and the maturity during that break that we had. And then really the pleasant surprise was coming back out and seeing a stadium full of fans, because, you know, we expected it to just be our parents, so to speak. You know, I didn't expect a lot of people to hang around for an hour and 20 minutes. And so to see that means a lot to us, and it definitely makes playing at home so special. And so just huge appreciation to the fans for doing that.
All right, so you're calling me out on that one, Duff. I called out the fans in my article this week in the game. There were many that stayed, and we are very appreciative of that. There were also many that left, and they're pansies. But nonetheless, you know, my family's there, and well, as soon as they get the announcement, lightning in the area, you know, whatever. I looked at Isaac, the SID up in the press box, and I said, you're going to lose everybody, man. They're going to go home. He's like, I know. And so after the rain settled down, people started to come back in. And my wife's like, yeah, it's about half the people gone that were around us, at least. And but there were several that stayed, many that stayed through it all. And it was a long, my goodness, almost 2-hour delay.
It was a long time.
So Coach tells us that they gave you guys some good snacks, is the way that he referred to it in the locker room. So what's a good snack for a rain delay, 2-hour lightning delay in the middle of a game?
I think everyone loves the fruit snacks that we get. Those are pretty awesome. We get those at halftime usually, but when we're sitting for an hour, 20 minutes, you got to think too, we eat pregame meal, I don't know, 2 hours before the game, 3 hours. So a lot of guys are pretty hungry during the game. And so the fruit snacks were nice. They have the little squeezable applesauce things that you can just that's pretty nice. Everyone loves those. And then you got Cheez-Its. Oh, they had Rice Krispie treats. I hadn't seen those before, but we had those.
Nice.
Awesome. So yeah, there were a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I gave during that lightning delay, I had time to ponder and tweet. And so I put something out there about, it would have been nice to have that buffet in the press box. And then I mentioned AD Moats by name, saying I was promised M&Ms and I haven't gotten any M&Ms yet. So I walked into the press conference after the game and Kyle Moats was there. He said, I saw your tweet. I was like, uh-oh. He said, I'll get you some M&Ms next week. I was like, all right, sounds good to me. So
Awesome.
I didn't have anything to eat during that break. I guess I could have went down and bought a hot dog or something, but nonetheless, that was a long one. I know you've had weather delays before, but what does it take to get ready to come back out and play again after that long of a delay?
So what's actually crazy is I've had weather delays in high school and stuff like that. And that's when you can push games back to the next day and say, all right, guys, we're playing Saturday. But that doesn't happen in college. And so we'd actually been fortunate to never have that situation rise up in a game here at EKU since I've been here. And so to see that, it's an unknown. You've never encountered it. You've never had to go in, wait around like during a game with no idea when you're going to go back out. And so there's two ways it can go, and it can, you're so locked in, you're so amped up, and you have so much adrenaline going when the start of the game, it can really wreck that adrenaline, and people could be getting on their phones, checking their social media or whatever, goofing around, not locked in during it. But I think a great testament to our team, and it showed when we came out and scored real quick and everything. But we went in there. I didn't see any phones out. Everyone was locked in. They had the iPads out. They were going over film from just the first 9 minutes of the game or whatever it was, and just like a lot of maturity on our side. And I was super happy. I mean, to see it wasn't just seniors taking over too with the leadership, like it was everyone, and everyone was focused towards the goal. And so to see that for an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, hour 4, I don't even know how long it ended up being, but to see that for that amount of time, and it just is reassuring as a team, and just like confident boosting that everyone's in it for the same thing and everyone's locked in on the goal at hand.
Yeah, I mean, you were in the locker room for, I think, an hour and 40 minutes. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's correct. Maybe an hour and 35, something like that. You were in there for a long time. What kind of updates were they giving you guys in there? Because I know, Greg Stoudemire and the radio guys were trying to figure out how much time they were going to have to kill on the radio, those kinds of things. And so they were trying to get updates, and they were having a hard time getting some updates. So how often were you guys informed, hey, there's another 30 minutes just got put on the clock or anything like that?
See, because there was like a storm in the area, we didn't know, and we just assumed 30 minutes, and they just came in there like, we don't know, this could be a while. And then they said, I'm here at 8 o'clock, but just stay ready, stay loose, whatever, And so I think it ended up being like 7:45. We were able to go out and get the stretching and stuff, but that was definitely like a interesting task as far as, do we keep our shoulder pads on? They end up telling us to take them off if we want. And we're like, all right, do we stay loose and stretch, or do we sit down and relax because we got a while? I know us specialists were antsy because we're like, well, it is third down out there when we go back out there. So we're like, we might get called upon immediately. So it was definitely a lot of unknowns, but everyone just did a really good job communicating and being mature about it.
Awesome. All right, let's run through a little bit of the game real quick. I noticed very first play of the game, defensively, D-Bake, he took the right tackle and just threw him right into the quarterback. And I was like, all right, well, that's a good sign. And I think later on maybe it may have been the next series. I can't see it in my notes right now. But I know Gabe Stevens attacked the right side several times in that game, had success on the right side as well. So a lot of success against the right tackle in that game. I saw Jeremiah Bailey had a pressure on third down, got right in the quarterback's face as well. So a lot of great stuff defensively early on, getting to him. Joshua Carter fumbles on the first offensive drive of the game, and that was really the only good field position that they had the whole game. And he obviously got things right the rest of the game as well. Second possession was Daquan's first touchdown at 21 yards there. So that was pretty awesome. A really nice drive on that one. Interception followed that. Vito got the pick. I forget who tipped it. Somebody tipped it. Vito gets the pick. Jaheim Ward tipped it. So Jaheim had a great game as well. I really thought that Gabe Fletcher had a really good game again this time. He had a fumble recovery. There was a lot of really good things I thought there as well. 2 interceptions on the night. Mike Smith got the other interception. Also, we saw 3 running backs find the end zone, or 2 running backs find the end zone, I guess. Yeah, 2 running backs find the end zone. Morrissey ran one into. Daquan had the two touchdowns. Several just big defensive plays as well. But you guys controlled it really from the snap. If you take away the fumble on the first possession, I think it was probably a perfect game for the most part in that one. I did ask Coach about Pat, and I just said, has the not being out on the field very consistently so far this season, right? Like he wasn't on the field at all really in the first game against Mississippi State, one extra point, then not really on the field much at all at Western, and so on and so forth. Obviously we believe in Pat. Pat's a great kicker. Pat's an All-American. He's going to set records at EKU. Have you felt that at all, where just he hasn't really had a chance to get in rhythm at all up to this point? He kicked a lot of extra points this week, which probably helped.
Yeah. I think it was frustrating in the first 2 games just because that's his job. So when you're not kicking off much and you're not kicking field goals much, it's hard to just stand there on the sideline and warm up all game and not get to go out there. Yeah. So I think that was weird, and we're used to in the past, we were on the field a lot with the field goal unit. And so those first 2 games were like a bit of a new situation arising. But as far as since then, offense has done a great job getting us in field position, and we've gotten field goals, we've gotten extra points. And like you said, we got a bunch of extra points this week. I do think it was just, missed field goals happen. It was by maybe like a fraction of a hair. And so we just continue to just stay confident, drill those angles, those hard up close angles, because then you watch him and he's nailing 65 yarders. He's got, like we said, he's an All-American. He's got it in him. So he, sometimes it just goes the wrong way, but no, everything's good. He's confident and he's back in rhythm. Everything feels good.
Yeah, I saw him kick from midfield, so 60-yard field goal, warming up after I think it was after the half. It may have been after the rain delay. I saw, and it went through with room to give as well. So I know it's there. Everyone knows it's there. I hate it for him the way the season has started. And then real quick, Jacob Baker again, only 2 punts in this game, which is probably good for everybody that it's only 2 punts for Jacob in this game. Yeah. But another one that was pinned in, I think it was at the 4. I have it written down somewhere. And then the other one was a touchback, but was a great punt as well. So 2 punts, 89 yards on his punts this week. And then Jalen Montgomery again on the return game, just absolutely crushing it. He had 2 big returns. I think on both of those was penalties. Yeah. I wrote that down somewhere as well. I know Jacob, or not House. He didn't get called out by name by Coach in the press conference, but freshman move is what the way Coach put it. I was like, oh, that's tough. But it's a fun time and a great game. Of course, this weekend we'll talk about coming up after our interviews. We'll kind of look ahead to this Saturday and what's ahead going on there as well. But we do have 2 guests on tonight, and let's get to our first one this evening. And it is the guy who scored 2 touchdowns in the game, had himself a heck of a game this weekend. It is wide receiver Dequan Stanley. Don't forget you're muted. There you go. You got it. You're the man. All right, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Hey, not bad. 3 catches and 2 touchdowns. Sounds like a pretty good Saturday evening, if you ask me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Indeed. It still was a lot I left out there, but yeah, that's a good start.
Not too shabby, right? And talk about just the kind of same thing. You've been on here, you've been hearing us talking, but that lightning delay and that time off. What was the thought process when you guys came out from that time off? And I think is that the drive you scored the first touchdown on, was right out of the lightning break? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So obviously it's unfortunate we had a lightning delay. That first drive with Josh Carter fumbling, it was like kind of like upsetting, and like once we got that lightning delay, when we went back to the locker room, it basically just gave us life again. Like we watched film on them. We know what they do. We know what they do well. What they did that was bad, and we pinpoint everything to basically execute what we want to do. And like we practiced all that week the seam ball that I caught the touchdown, and it was like it was there, and so we just took it. And like just going back into the the locker room and just refreshing this, just to get our brains back flowing, and just because when the game starts up, everybody's jitters just flowing.
Yeah.
And once we started, it was just like, okay, these guys just regular guys just like us go out there and they put on their pads just like us, and we went out there from the second delay and just balled. And like, as you said, it was like almost a perfect game, which is great for OC.
Yeah, right. Then you guys took over on the 26th late in the first half, and Gabe Fletcher jumps on the bad snap, recovers the fumble. First play of that drive, it's a -1 yard run, and then right after that, boom, there's Dequan Stanley again sitting in the end zone. Talk about just the pure joy you get when you cross over to the end zone or catch a ball in the end zone.
It's an unexplainable feeling. It's like you work so hard through that practice, and then you get in the game and you score. You just like, dang, this is what I work for, and it's an unbelievable feeling. And then when you turn around and see all your buddies coming up and running up to you, you just get happy. And then sometimes you forget you practice your dance moves and practice, and then you get out there. Sometimes you freeze up. Sometimes you just do it.
I love it, man. Your wide receiver room is packed full of talent. I mean, just packed full of talent. I know you've came in last year. You were here, of course. And what was the experience like throughout the competition of summer and camp, and even still now of just trying to earn those reps and earn those opportunities on the field?
So obviously we do a good job of recruiting kids that want to play and that will play. And like I give credit to the recruiting staff on our team, the coaches bringing in players that want to compete. And like as y'all can see, my dude that I'm competing with is Marcus Cowwise, which is a very good player. And like we have those competitions every day. It's like, okay, who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Who can do this better? And it's just like once you have that competition, it's like every day you're gonna grow just because you don't want to get one, you don't want to lose out to the next person. So it's like every day is just open competition.
Go ahead, Duff. What do you got for Daquan?
Yeah, so your experience at this point, caught 2 touchdowns this weekend. Talk to me a little bit about like what goes into a relationship between a quarterback and a receiver, and what you need to do extra to set yourself apart and put you in those positions to where he can trust you to throw those deep balls and throw those tight window throws.
All right, so first thing, it's all about repetition. If a quarterback comfortable just knowing you're gonna be at the spot when he set back and throw it, it's like that's gonna build trust like instantly. And then like during the summer, we used to get with Matt, all the time, just run routes and just throw it. Even if it's just like 3-4 receivers and like 2 DBs, we still out there just throwing and just working on timing. And that's really like the main thing, the growing connection with the quarterback is, like little stuff, going out to eat, just talking, just having fun. And then like obviously Duff, you're a player, like inside the locker room, we camaraderie, we just have fun and just being with each other and like being around, the quarterbacks, not just Matt, Cam, Jackson House when he was a quarterback, Brady, because all the quarterbacks are synced together. So it's like once you got a connection with one, you're bound to have connection with all the other ones. And like that's basically how we all grew with Matt.
What's the difference in quarterbacks as far as I'm not asking you to compare Matt and Cam, but just like when you're running routes for different quarterbacks, what is it that you have to figure out about each other that so you can connect?
Okay, so my thing with Cam, I had a connection with Cam from last year because I was a 2 last year and Cam was a 2 as well. So Cam knew where I liked the ball, how I want it, and things like that. When we had a new quarterback, Matt Morsi, come in, it was more of getting with him in the summer to see how he liked to throw the ball, whether he liked to spin it or do he like place it, and like it's different. It's different because they two different types of quarterbacks, and they both got different spins and touches on the ball. And it's just like once you learn it, you just learn it.
So you've caught passes from at EKU. You've caught passes from Parker. You caught passes from Cam. You caught passes from Matt. Which one has hurt the most?
Matt Morsi.
Yeah. Yeah.
By far. When Matt want to throw it, he can throw it. But surprisingly, out of all the quarterbacks that we have, the one who can spin it is Kobe Lambert.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about that? How about
Yeah.
that? So I grew up a huge Packer fan, and back when I was a kid, Brett Favre was around, and I remember them telling stories of breaking their fingers, like broken knuckles and stuff like that. Absolutely crazy. And so I've always considered that now. And I know, Matt, I remember there was an incomplete pass to Hunter last week. And it just looked like the ball got there really fast. And I thought,
yeah, Matt can zip it.
Yeah.
He can zip it. I was about to say my pinky's still messed up.
All right. Hey, we got a great question here on YouTube right now. Talk about becoming the leader in the wide receiver room.
Okay. So we started off. We're a young squad. We consider unexperienced, and developing a leader in that room. It was like kind of weird because I'm a vocal dude, but I like to lead by example, and I was never much of a talker to because I felt like I haven't done anything. But it's like as we started growing, and as a team and just in that wideout room in general, it was like most of the kids in that room, they look up to me. They can vouch for me. They if I'm messing up, they'll get on me. If I see something, I'm definitely gonna correct it. Just because obviously we want to be a dominant unit. And it's like the steps of doing that, it's like everybody got different personalities. And you just you gotta pick them out one by one, see what they like, see what they don't like. And me being one of the leaders in the room, because it's not just one leader in the room. I feel like everybody in the room a leader in their way, but it's just the way you gotta find it and just exploit it. And it's like me just sitting back and just learning all the receivers, see what they like, see what see what make them discomfort and everything. It helped me lead that room better.
Last year you guys had, veterans as far as on the field veterans, a talent like Jado that leaves, it kind of leaves a little bit of a void in the room, it seems like. And you guys, that's not to say you have zero experience, obviously. But you, Ron Van, Jacob Horn, Bryant Johnson, are all kind of that same age group and everything like that. But the experience level is a little different than what you guys have had the past couple of years as well. How do you think that has it put a chip on your guys' shoulder to say, hey, we're going to prove this is our time and we're here to step up?
Oh, most definitely. It probably put the biggest chip on our shoulder because we have a saying where it's receivers make plays win, and we was all the time. And then we'd be like, this offense run this offense function if who function, and we'd be like, if we function. And it's yeah, because once the offense have a really big play or anything, it brings juice. I'm talking about unbelievable juice to the team, and everybody get flowing, and then that's just everybody's just excited to play football, and it's yeah, that's really it. To be honest, we got a big chip on our shoulder just because we quote unquote the inexperienced group.
Yeah. What's the one thing you haven't gotten to do yet this year that you still want to do within the season?
One thing I want to do, I want to throw a double pass, but Coach Cobb's not going to allow.
All right, so take Jackson House out of the equation. Who's the receiver with the best arm?
Marquise Cowwise, by far.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So is Marcus Cowwise right now? Where is Marcus Cowwise on the quarterback depth chart?
Quarterback depth chart. Well, I like all our quarterbacks, so he's number one right after them.
Okay. So he's not going to beat out any of the current quarterbacks.
Nah.
Okay. I was wondering about return game. Now, obviously, Jalen Montgomery's been phenomenal this year.
Awesome.
Been phenomenal. But I know you were in that mix this summer as far as return stuff. Is that something that if the opportunity arises, you're excited to do?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I love returning, but now I'm on the front line on KR. I just like helping out the team the best way I can. So I'm doing front line KR. So it's not returning the ball, but I'm helping returning the ball.
Yeah.
So it's a win.
You're there for the onside if it comes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Talk about your time at EKU. You were here last season as well. Came in
Mhm.
from South Florida. You're originally from Florida. At least that's what your bio says. From
Yeah, I'm
St.
from
Augustine. Okay. So your time in Richmond, like what's it been like? What have you enjoyed the most about it?
It's a lot different from where I'm
Mhm.
from and the old school I went to. That lifestyle was very fast. There's a lot of parties and stuff like that, and it's just a bunch of distractions back to where I was. No knock on them, but that's just the lifestyle in those cities. Moving to Richmond, it was like it really opened my eyes on like the process of a grind and like actually trying to home in on your skills and just focus on what you came here for. And like it's very slow compared to where I was, and it's less distraction, so it really just keep me focused on football and just school, and I
Love
can't
it.
complain about it.
Yeah. Duff, what else you got for Daquan?
Yeah, so uh goes around the locker room. Daquan's known as the second best dancer on the team.
Okay.
I was gonna ask, we go into our touchdown dances and stuff like that.
Mhm.
How early are you pre-planning these dances? Are they in the moment? Talk to me about your choreography there.
Um, mm, they really just come, to be honest, because I got one dance that I gotta do just because my name is Daquan and it's called Hit the Quan, so I gotta do that one dance. But other than that, they just come like as I score. Like the first dance move, I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought it was cool and I did it.
Would you agree you're the second best dancer on the team?
I think the first.
Do you know
I
who
think I'm.
everyone else thinks is the first now?
Don't say you.
No, it's not me. I'm 3 because I learned my dance moves from Daquan. He's been teaching me
Okay.
ever since camp. But
Hey,
no,
go do some lessons.
I heard number 1 was Coach Wells after that video came
Oh, yeah, Coach Wells got me beat.
out.
Oh, he got me beat by far.
So you're good
He
with
got
number
me.
2.
Yeah, yeah. Happily.
Okay, there we go. All right.
I love that you guys win, but if I never had to see that dance from Coach Wills again, I'd be okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, because I was going to ask with that, but you kind of explained it. We were talking with Ryan about sack celebrations and stuff. He tried to have a different celebration for each sack, and he had that game last year. We had 3 sacks, and he ran out of celebrations.
Yeah.
But I guess if you just let it fly or whatever you're feeling when you get there, I guess that answers my question. And you have something different every time, or are you
Yeah.
going to try to find that maybe a consistent one now that you like?
That first one is probably gonna be my consistent one, but like I gotta do other dances first. I might end
Yeah.
up hitting the worm one day.
There you go. There you go. I like it. I like it a lot, man. When you came to EKU, did you know anybody else that was already here?
K2.
Okay.
But he's a transfer now. So when I came here, we had a kid named Kiari McGlure.
Yeah.
I played him in high school and did not know who he was. This was St. Augustine versus Lake Mineola. And we went to triple overtime and we lost by 1. And like I came here and like our tags in our locker, it has like your player name and like the high school you went to.
Okay.
And I seen Lake Mineola and I was like, I played this school. And then I asked him, and then he was like, "Yeah, we played y'all in the Final Four." And I was like, okay, got you. So that me and Kiari got close from that. And that's probably like the only person I know. I reached out to people before I came here, like Jado Parker and just like a few people around that area. But yeah, that's probably the only one I knew for real.
Hey, we got more questions. This is great. Raining on Saturday, more than likely. So what changes for you with your gloves, no gloves, other things that you have to change when it comes to a rain game?
When it's raining, I don't really like gloves just because it's slick, and I'll take out my visor as well.
Take off the visor too.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, thanks for writing in these questions. Of course, Miss Bailey's here also. I love the Baileys and appreciate her support of the program as well, for sure. Last thing I got for you, Daquan, Jado, he was so impactful here. He goes off. Do you still keep in touch with him or other guys like that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and Jado very tight. We still talk today. We literally just talking like 5 minutes before I got on here.
Okay. I've never watched a UTEP game in my life until this year, and I see it on, and I'm like, I'm gonna catch Jado for a couple minutes and
Yeah,
catch his game.
unfortunately, he's out for the season.
That stinks, man. It stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you guys know how that feels. I mean, you guys have lost several teammates already this year to that
Yeah.
as well. We'll talk to Gabe a little bit about that too. It affects him maybe as much as anybody back there in that second line of defense. So, Daquan, listen, great game this past Saturday. Excited about the game coming up this Saturday as well, and excited for the opportunities you're getting this season and how you're taking advantage of those opportunities, of course, as well. Surely appreciate you taking some time for us tonight, and good luck, man, moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Dequan Stanley, wide receiver, EKU. And, man, he's coming alive right now for sure this season. Had 7 catches last year. I believe he's already surpassed that this year. So he's rolling 2 touchdowns this past weekend. All right, let's bring in guest number 2. He's been waiting patiently in the green room. He's a linebacker for EKU, Gabe Stevens. Gabe, how you doing, man?
Hey, how are you, sir?
Doing awesome. We talked to you at the press conference Saturday night a little bit as well, but a heck of a game Saturday. And how does a game like that feel when you come out being as productive, especially as you were on Saturday?
It feels very, very good to come out and perform like that. Thanks to my teammates. Some teammates opened up some good holes where I could fit through and stuff like that. So it felt very good.
All right, so let's start with that then. Your teammates. Who's the guy that does the best job of opening up spaces for you?
I got to get at the Jeremiah Bailey.
Okay. Who's the one that's the worst? No, I'm just kidding. We won't go there. We won't make you say that. You can, unless it's Rhino. If it's Rhino, you can say that. But you're usually more outside of him, so we won't make you give an answer on that one. We talked about it though at the press conference where that right side, you guys attacking that right side heavily on Saturday, and not everybody was at the press conference or heard the press conference. So, what did you guys see coming into Saturday that said, "Hey, this is something we can definitely attack"?
Film. We saw that the right tackle was fairly weaker than the left one, so we just decided to go after him, and that's what we did.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, play 1, it was D-Bake. I mean, he threw that guy. It was you had a view of it, right?
Yeah. Front row seat, yeah.
So what was your thought? Like, I mean, that was literally the first play of the game. What was your thought when you saw the tackle go flying?
Well, I just saw, so I'm rushing. I see the quarterback come flying my way, almost flying to my legs. So I'm trying to stop the quarterback from taking my legs out at that point. So I was just looking at D-Bake, he's celebrating, and yeah.
He's having himself a time for sure. You got the forced fumble. You had the strip sack, everything that goes with it. I mean, is there a better feeling for a guy at your position than a strip sack?
No better feeling. Only the other thing to do is recover the ball, but couldn't get through the ball. But yeah, that's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, but that was on 3rd down, so you still got the ball back, right? So that's always I'm sure. I mean, I know any sack feels great, but at the end of the day, you guys got the ball back as a result of it too, which was probably pretty awesome as well. Talk to me a little bit about your transition. Again, you were here last year, kind of like Daquan. You guys came in, started playing last year. You got to play in every single game last year, and but you're already on pace to you'll blow your numbers away from last year because the opportunity is there for you this year, of course, as well. So just your time in Richmond, what brought you here and what do you like about it since you've been here?
So I came from University of North Carolina. I just wanted to change, and Coach Day hit me up, got me to come up here for a visit, and I like the people up here, how I was treated. So that's why I came here. But yeah, what was your other question?
What do you like about Richmond? Because I know it's a unique place to most places. Although you're from North Carolina, Mount Holly, I think would be kind of similar to Richmond, wouldn't it, or no?
Yeah, Mount Holly. Yeah, that's a small town right outside of Charlotte. So it's kind of similar, you know, small town, not too crazy. I like it so this far.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about just well, let me ask this question, get it out of the way with. Now, you were there with Mac Brown, correct, at North Carolina?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, won't spend much time on your time in North Carolina, but Mac Brown's legendary. Like his time in coaching, he's one of the best football coaches to have ever done the job. So what kind of stuff can you learn from a guy like that? Just the opportunity to sit in meetings. I know you had position coaches and stuff, but I just think that kind of stuff's pretty cool to get an opportunity to spend some time with a legendary coach like Mac Brown.
Oh yeah. Mac Coach Brown is great. Great mentor. When I went there, he was just it really wasn't even about football. He talked about a 40-year decision and stuff like that. So yeah, Mac Brown is great, legendary. Yeah.
Who do you like better, Walt Wells or Mac Brown? No, I won't do that to you. Okay. Duff, what do you got for Gabe?
Yeah. So Gabe, obviously in a room with Frank Lee, and he's banged up right now, which, you know, sucks for the team, but you're in there, you're filling that role right now, and you're playing really well. I was standing next to Frank after one of your sacks on Saturday, and he looked at me and he said, "I feel like a proud dad." So talk to me a little bit about your guys' relationship. And, you know, Frank's played a lot of games. What does he do that helps you, and how does that relationship help you on the field and competitively and all of that?
Yeah. Frank, me and Frank, I think we feed off of each other, you know, great energy between one another. He's very, very smart. So if I'm out there and he sees something that I'm not seeing or anything at any moment, he'll come to me and let me know what's going on and get it fixed right then and there. So that's I think that's the dynamic that we have, and we'll tell each other whenever we do good, and we'll tell each other whenever we aren't doing so good. So
Definitely one of the more talented rooms that we have.
I feel like the Jack and Sam's this year are a lot more similar than in years past here at EKU. It feels like you guys can kind of play either of those spots pretty seamlessly. You know, you got you and Frank, Cam, Jacquez, who's been a great addition also. Braxton Baptiste has gotten some playing time too. You know, do you see yourself, I guess, how do you see yourself fitting in not only here at EKU, but in the future in football, like being able to kind of be versatile, playing multiple different positions?
That's what I like about this place. You know, you go to the next level. We played every position by moving around. So I don't think it'll be too much to get used to. So yeah, I think it's very, very good.
Your guys' room is kind of experienced, honestly. I mean, you know, again, Jacques West comes over. He's got experience. Frank's got the experience. You and Cam have played here as well. And so having those guys that have, you know, been together outside of Jacques West, been together at least a year, you know, when you have those injuries and stuff like that, how much confidence do you have that, hey, it's all good because we got guys that can step right up now and to that place if I need to get a break or something like that?
Yeah, that's great to know. You know, we're one of the least worried position groups between the Sams and the Jacks. I don't think it matters who's in the ball game. We know whoever's in there is gonna go in there and make a play and do what they need to do. So
now, if you weren't playing linebacker, let's say they had to move you to offense, what position you playing on offense?
Probably wide out. I got some highlights at wide, from high school, so I think I play wide receiver.
Some wide out there. Duff, you weren't with us then. Rhino was with us, and I'm trying to remember if it was Coach Richmond or who it was. I was asking somebody about who it was Coach Day. I was asking about who on the defense that's not a DB could be the kick returner. And he brought up your name as the guy that can go out there and return kicks.
Oh yeah, I can tote the ball now.
So do you ever go over to Montgomery, Monty, and just say, hey man, you should have done this. You should have cut back this way. You know, if I was in there, I would have done this.
No, I haven't, but I probably will now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you know Coach Day's watching. He's ready. You're on the list, man. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready to go get it for sure. Listen, first 2 games of the year were tough, right? There was a tough start to the season. Did not go the way you guys wanted to go. Do you feel like now you guys are where you need to be? Obviously there's still things to work on. There were some penalties that probably should have been avoided and things like that. But overall, do you feel like you guys are starting to get in line with where you need to be? So when you really kick into conference play, you guys are right where you need to be.
Oh yeah, I think those two games really were eye openers for us. Lots to learn from. So I think from those games on, we've gotten a lot better, tightened down on the details that we needed to. So from then on, I think we're gonna go undefeated in Roy Kidd Stadium.
I love it. What have you seen on tape about Robert Morris that you're going to take advantage of this week?
Specifically, their right tackle, he's kind of on the bigger side, about 340, I think. About 6, he big. So I see he opens his hips a lot. So I'm probably going to try to get his hips open and try to run them through, go cut on the inside, get the sack.
Duff, anything else for Gabe? I got one more, but you got something else?
Yeah, you have the opportunity right now. You're making huge strides right now from your first year. What was it this offseason that if you had one thing to pick out, what have you worked on the most that you feel you've made the most strides into getting you ready for this season?
I've continuously worked on my get off, specifically, going against guys like Peyton, that we have, going against the better guys tackles that we have in practice. So just working with him and just toning my craft is about it.
Nobody better to work against.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one to practice for sure. Is there anybody you model your game after? Anybody that you kind of watched and say, hey, if I could play like this, that's kind of where I want to get to?
It's probably like Von Miller, Brian Burns, type deal.
Yeah. Anything special about your number? Is there anything like a reason for the number that you have?
Not specifically. I've had it for a long time, so I like the number. So
yeah, I always forget to ask that question. It's always something I'm intrigued by. To see if there's some people, have got massive stories behind why they have the number, and other people, it looks cool. it's what you like, right? Awesome, man. Hey, great game on Saturday. Really excited about what's ahead for you, and the defense, by the way, has been phenomenal. I talked with Coach Johnson last week. I was interviewing him for a documentary we're doing on Matthew Jackson, and so we were just kind of chatting. And I'm just, I've been skeptical. I told Coach this. I said, I've been hard on you. But this year, I feel like the defense has been just top notch with everything that you guys are doing, man. It's been impressive, really impressive. So good luck this weekend against Robert Morris. Are you excited about a rain game, having the chance to play in some nasty rain, or would you rather just be nice and dry?
Hey, I'm excited. Let's get dirty. Let's do it.
Yeah, very good. All right, we'll see you on Saturday. Good luck again this weekend, and good luck the rest of the season, Gabe. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Gabe Stevens, linebacker, EKU. Great game on Saturday and a really good season. He's been called on, right, Duff? I mean, it's especially with Frank being injured again, but I feel like he's taken advantage of every opportunity he's gotten.
Absolutely, and you talked about it too. When you have depth in a room like that, and I look at the same thing with our running backs and several other positions, you never wish injuries on anyone, and you love everybody in that room. But there's certain rooms where you feel like, okay, well, good thing we have good depth. And so Gabe's one of those guys that you put in place, and he's a guy who's a dynamic player no matter where he is on the field. So it's huge to have him in there. Obviously, we love to be able to use both him and Frank, but and like I said, too, Frank was being funny on the sidelines, but the way I see those two interact, and Frank is just such a good teammate, and so is Gabe, that I can tell that they really pour into each other and help each other in different aspects, and it's really awesome to see.
That's great. I also heard something about you this week, Duff, or last week. I was talking with Coach Day, and he told me, he said, you need to ask Duff about his athleticism. He was proven to be the most athletic long snapper in the room last week or sometime recently. So tell us a little story about how you proved your athleticism.
Well, our coverage responsibility, we're trying to, based on wherever the kick is, we're trying to force them to a certain side and wherever the coverage is. And so coach was giving Quaid, who's our second snapper, who's an awesome dude. He's going to be a great player here. He had given up his leverage on whatever the play was. And coach, as a joke, just came up and he said, "Are you more athletic than Duff?" Kind of making a point open, he would say yes with confidence, and he goes no. And so coach was just like stunned by it for a second. And so I was bragging after that, and Quaid thought it was hilarious. He was like, "Oh, I was supposed to say yes." Like it was just funny. And we always, the specialists, we have a little too much time in our hands sometimes, and we drill our position so much and do the same thing over and over again. And then we daydream about what it'd be like to be playing actual football again. And so we like to have little debates about who could do this better, who'd be better at quarterback, who's the fastest, who's the strongest, although that's not much of a debate. Jacob Baker can lift a house. But so we do we do a lot.
Hoping to have Quaid's dad on during your guys' off week is what I'm hoping. In that 1 week that you guys don't have a game. So we'll see if that works out. I talked to him back in the summer, and I need to reach out to him and try to lock that down. But that'll be a lot of fun too with Tom, of course, broadcasting ACC network and his history at EKU as well. And so that'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully we get that locked down. Now this weekend though, you guys got Robert Morris. It's a fun weekend planned, even though the weather's not supposed to be awesome, but family weekend. It's the Pink Game Hall of Fame game. So they got a bunch of inductees showing up as well for this one. And again, let's talk on your role in the rain. Obviously they try to keep the football as dry as they can. They run it out there under the towel, or that's what they used to do. Is that they still do? They try to keep the ball dry.
They try to at the opportunities they can. Sometimes, you're going on for a field goal or a PAT and they don't change the ball out. So it just depends on the situation.
Do you ever have to communicate on a kick, for instance, communicate with the holder of, hey, here's what I feel, or is it just he's going to just have to catch it no matter what?
Yeah, not as much on a kick. Sometimes on a punt, we'll discuss yardage differences possibly, but really no, not too much is different as far as just we know that stuff can go wrong when you got a slippery ball. So if anything goes wrong, just make sure you put that thing on your boot and get it out. Or, I'm going to make sure that the biggest thing for me is honestly keeping my grip firm and not moving my fingers around and letting water slip in even more under my hand. And then also just following through extra. So your lower back feels nice and sore because you're trying to get all the way through your legs through a rain game. But, we've played a few of these rain games, and I've been fortunate enough to play in a lot of them in my career, so always feel good, and it's just an element of adversity that's fun. You got to get through it.
Do you guys practice when there's probably going to rain on Saturday? Is there practice dumping them in buckets or anything like that?
Oh yeah, and that sometimes that sucks if they really drench that football in a bucket, because I have never snapped a wet ball in a game that is that bad. But I've practiced it, which is awesome. And this week I did a little bit today of squirting water bottles all over the football before I snapped it, just training on the side with Baker. And also I like to just make sure the punters are used to and the holders are used to catching wet balls. But we do a little bit of that, but most of the week this week I didn't really have to do it because it was raining anyways.
Yeah, it was legit practicing in the rain.
Right.
Yeah, it works out just fine for sure. I had something and now I lost what I was going to ask you. Gracious. Oh, well, guess it wasn't that important. Kickoffs at 2. You guys have been playing a lot of 6 o'clock kickoffs this season. I'm looking, I think all of them have been 6 o'clock. Western Kentucky was 8 o'clock local time. No, 7 o'clock local time, 6 o'clock there. They've all been 6 o'clock kickoffs. This is the first afternoon game you guys will play this year. Is there a difference in preparation in the morning of stuff like that when you have a 2 o'clock kickoff versus 6 o'clock? Yeah, definitely.
The schedule will be a little bit different. You do the breakfast and the pregame meal and the stretch, and then you have relaxed time and stuff like that, for a later game. So early on, we'll shorten the schedule a little bit, maybe cut out breakfast and do that on your own, wake up and stretch still, but then quicker transition time and you bang, 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 like get over to get to warm-ups. But I'm excited to play an afternoon game because I think the general consensus is playing under the lights in our stadium is awesome. So I'll never complain about playing a night game too much. But I will say you get antsy waiting around all day to play in a big game, and you get so fired up in the morning when you wake up, and then you're trying to channel that energy and that enthusiasm until you're in between the lines at 6 o'clock. So to be able to roll out there and play at 2 o'clock, I can't wait.
Definitely. Now, against Robert Morris, do you know what the record is, EKU versus Robert Morris?
I do not.
Okay, all time 3-0. So there you go. You guys are undefeated against this team, against this program. 2 wins at home, 1 on the road. Last time you guys played was November 10th of 2018, and EKU won 40-39 in a shootout game in that one. Let's see here. Pulling up the stats real quick here. Or I thought I was. Maybe I'm not. Parker McKinney was the man in that one. Why can I not find? Here we go. All right. Parker McKinney, 17-34, 186 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Running the ball, it was LJ Scott, 19 carries, 86 yards, 3 touchdowns. Parker had 64 yards rushing as well. And then it was BK Smith, 4 catches, 48 yards, and Nico Creamer, 3 for 44. Jackson Behrman, 3 for 41 in that one as well. So let's see here. Philip Richards was the punter, 4 for 141 there as well. And then let's see here. Sam Hayworth, what do you have? 2 for 3 in that one. So there you go. Some history in the series here. I honestly didn't realize that you guys had played them 3 times before. So that was news to me. But nonetheless, big game this weekend, trying to keep that winning streak going at home, and looking forward to seeing how it's all going to shake out. And I agree with you, Miss Bailey. She said, let's make it 4-0 against Robert Morris there this weekend. All right, awesome. This is a good show. It's a lot of fun tonight. I appreciate this very much so. I want to remind people we do have the Matthew Jackson documentary. It's in production. We're trying to get everything finished up. We will announce once we start dropping episodes on that. The plan is to do several episodes. I think it's going to be 5 to 6 episodes long, and we're doing the whole Matthew Jackson story from the day he was born until the day that we finish recording. And so excited about that. Got some great stuff from Matt and his family, from EKU past and present people as well. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you keep a lookout for that one. And then we'll announce on social media as well when we're doing the show next week, and we'll be recapping the Robert Morris game as well, and looking forward to that. We'll have more guests on next week. Sure appreciate Daquan, Gabe for coming on today, for Isaac helping us with that, and of course Duff, always appreciate you taking time for us each week as well. So anything else you want to add or say before we sign off tonight?
Not that I can think of. I just, we had 2 good guys on, 2 guys that balled out, great people, super, super energetic and good guys in the locker room. And, we love riding this win streak. So just got to keep putting our head down and go. And I think this is maybe a little off topic, but the awesome thing about the past 2 weeks that I hadn't seen in the past with these wins is we go play these great games, we get wins, and it's still accountability and ripping a little bit, in the film room. And so I love the hunger of this team. It just makes me fired up more and more each week. We're not getting complacent. We're excited to put our head down and work. And so whatever conditions are thrown at us Saturday, ready to go.
Well, right now it says 100% chance of rain, 67 degrees, which will be just dandy. Let me ask this before we go. It seems like a lot of the wins, not all of them, obviously, but a lot of the wins the last couple of years have been close, like nail biters, down to the end, 7 overtimes, whatever it is. Your 2 wins so far this season have been dominant wins. As a player, all you care about is the win. What's the difference between a dominant win and a close game, like in the game? Which one do you enjoy more?
I think, man, that's tough because they're 2 very different feelings. You're dominating, you're having fun, the little song comes on, you're dancing, you got a lot of energy and momentum on your sideline the whole game. But at the same time, like you said, a win's a win. I love a win, but a close game too, you have that mental aspect to it and that locked in, and like you're locked into the other game too, but you know what I mean? Like every play matters and you're so locked in at the moment. And so that focus and that rush that you get is awesome too. So those are tough to decide between, but I guess at the end of the day too, I'll say winning by 50 every time if we can, you know, I leaving no doubt and going out there and imposing our will, that would be ideal. So it's been nice to win by more than one score because like you said, in my career, especially I did the math at one point. It was like 22 out of 25 games out of the last whatever were like one possession game. So there's been a lot of close ones. So it's nice to have gotten a little cushion over the past 2 weeks. And so hopefully we can just keep being dynamic.
And I'll tell you, so obviously the way the defense is playing plays a big role into that. The way that Baker's been so effective and the special teams have been so good, both returning and punting and kicking, the field position battle in these wins, you guys have just dominated field position in all of these. And then obviously when the offense is putting up points, it sure helps as well. You mentioned it before and I was trying to get the Daquan, so I rushed past it, but so many guys got to play and we got to see 3 quarterbacks and no one was hurt. So that was good. We got to see 3 quarterbacks. Telly McAllister came in and just like dominated the touches that he got. And I know Coach talked about Telly in summer and was really impressed with him. And just the depth chart is so deep there at running back. But he came in, ran 7 times, 66 yards and a touchdown with a long run of 25. He averaged 9.4 yards. I asked Coach this in the press conference. I said, you know, the team rushing stat looks good. I said, but are you pleased with the run game tonight? Because my first thought was, you know, it wasn't sexy at all. Really, early on in the game, it was effective enough. And he said, you know, when I look at the numbers, I have to say I'm more pleased than I thought. He said, just the feeling of in the game, I wasn't super happy about it. He said, but I look at the numbers, the lowest average rusher was 6.9 yards a carry. So he's like, when you look at that, you go, okay, never mind. Yeah, it was pretty good. So impressive night though. Braden Latham, Joshua Carter, Telly McAllister all had great opportunities. We got to see Cam and Matt, Jalen a little bit out there on offense, of course, as well. And it just the ball got around, which was nice to see for sure. Okay, yeah, I didn't want to pass up talking about some of those guys. Daquan talked about getting time with Cam last year, with him being the two guy. Do you talk more to guys in practice? I know it seems like you guys pretty much keep to yourselves over there, the specialists, but are there guys that aren't getting a lot of reps that you kind of go chat with and get to know better during practice? Or is it more just outside of practice?
Yeah, and definitely outside we do a lot just because, I mean, we're with each other so much in the season, especially. And when you get into fall camp and those hours, it's incredible how quickly you can get to know 100 and some people through fall camp. But I would say, yeah, some during practice because we did this new thing with the specialists where on special teams period. So let's say it's kickoff that day, and obviously I'm not running down the field. I go hop on the sideline with the rest of the guys who are maybe second string or third string on kickoff. They're sitting there getting the coaching point, and I do that mainly we originally started doing that as like some support for the guys. You know, it's a hot day. They're running down the field. Hey, here's a high five, you know, just some support. And also I like to just be over there being a 5th-year guy and trying to be a leader, you know, just make sure everyone's locked in and on the same page and different things like that. So honestly, through that, I've been able to just forge some relationships through that in practice. That's about the most I get there. But those have been great. And I definitely have forged some relationship with the freshmen even. And I think that's one of the things too I've enjoyed so much about punt this year in practice is in between reps I've been able to talk, and it's mainly about football at that point. But I love the fact that we got young guys on our unit that haven't done it, and I'm the old guy that's played a lot of down. So if the returner does this, I know how we need to react, and if someone gets out of their lane, this is how we should act. And so it's been cool being that kind of voice and getting to know those guys on a personal level and help each other through football.
Definitely. Question comes in on YouTube. Is it difficult to snap 100 balls and people only remember the one bad one?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a thing. And I said this earlier. I was at Golden Corral talking to some people. I said, as a long snapper, I hope nobody knows who I am.
Yeah.
Because really, you don't know the long snapper unless something bad happens, or you're in a really awesome school like EKU where you get to go talk at Golden Corral and you get to be on the Sports Stove podcast. And I mean, I've gotten more opportunities to talk to the fans and be in public and do some cool things I don't think any other of my snapper friends have gotten to do at other schools. But yeah, it's definitely a hard thing. But when you're young, when I started snapping, I think it was my sophomore year of high school when I really started honing in on it the most. And that, this is the job. This is a job you're signing up for. And so when you love football this much and you want to perfect a craft and try to become the best at whatever you can do to help the team, that you got to go out there. And I had someone ask at Golden Corral today, they said, do you feel the pressure of that exact fact that if you go screw up, everyone remembers it? And I said, no, because thankfully, since I started snapping, I've been able to snap 1 million footballs since then. And so, you just have to have that confidence through your repetition and your chemistry with your punters and just knowing that you've done it 1,000 times before. And then when you do have, inevitably, if you screw up one time, hopefully it's in a practice, hopefully it's in a walkthrough, I don't know. But if you screw up that one time, you have that confidence, like, okay, that's one out of the past 99. Let me go back to those 99 and keep going. So that's a good question.
Did Coach throw you under the bus at all at Golden Corral? I heard he threw Morrissey under the bus last week. He set you up with any embarrassing I know he announced to the Golden Corral group that Morrissey was dating a volleyball player.
Yeah.
Matt said the only questions he got were about his dating relationship. So
yeah, I heard about that. No, it's funny. I did not. He did not set me up at all. He just gave me a really nice introduction. But I actually mentioned something at the end. They had asked about. I saw someone in the crowd wearing your pin, and I was like, "Oh, was that my mom or my girlfriend?" And as soon as I said girlfriend, that whole crowd went, "Ooh!" So that was pretty funny. But no, he didn't set me up. If anything, maybe I did a little bit there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know Matt came into the press conference after the game, and they said no questions about the volleyball players. So, okay, I didn't know what they were talking about, but I got it explained to me. So, all right, hey, this has been a fun show tonight. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and looking forward to seeing all of the brave souls on Saturday. Saturday is my wife's birthday, and she actually asked specifically for tickets again for this Saturday's game. So, so there you go. You guys have won her over. Actually, the band's won her over, but that's okay. So she's been at all the home games so far this year as well. So with my kids. So nonetheless, happy birthday to her. We'll see everybody Saturday, rain or shine. We'll be there. Hopefully you guys will be as well. Follow us on social media at Sports Stove on Twitter and on Instagram. And excited about what is ahead. Duff, thanks again for tonight. Make sure you guys check out allaroundroofingky.com if you live in Central Kentucky. Get some wind this weekend, some damage. Make sure you check them out. Give them a call. Let them know you heard about them on the Sports Stove Local Hour. All right, friends, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, we'll see you around the Sports Stove.